Today's episode of the Fan Feed Network podcast is brought to you by Bonnier Jewelry. We have made it, ladies and gentlemen, to the final week of the NFL fantasy football season, regular season, that is. Week 14, last week before playoffs. I cannot believe that this is happening to us, that it's gone by so fast. We're getting prepped for playoffs, and tonight we've got a special show. We're going to look back at our Fan Feed Network 2025 NFL mock draft, the draft that we did in the preseason right before the season started, to review our hits, our misses, and everything in between. We're also going to take a quick early look ahead at the 2026 drafts and see which guys have risen, who are our favorite targets for next year, who are guys we're keeping our eyes on. That will probably help you guys who are playing Dynasty target some guys that you might want to hit before the season next year. But yeah, we're just looking ahead and having some fun. So anyway, if you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, hang out with us. If you've got any questions that we can answer for you, start sit questions, waiver wire questions. Some of you may still have a trade deadline that hasn't hit. So if you've got trade questions, anything like that, throw it in the chat. We'll do our best to answer whatever you've got. You can also follow us over there on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, active on all those. If you're not able to watch this stream, watch us or listen to us on podcast, anywhere podcasts are streamed, on your way into work and your way home. But fellas, we're back. We're back. Alex, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. I got to go to some warm weather. I got to watch some pretty good Thanksgiving football. All in all, pretty good slate of Thanksgiving games. The Cowboys game, very entertaining. The Lions game, sorry to Lions fans, but it was a very entertaining game as well. And then Joe Burrow, his comeback, and then the demolition of the Ravens, who I thought were going to make a strong playoff push. Now they're set back. So it was a good slate of games.
Yeah, honestly, it was a great slate of games. I loved it. Couldn't believe the Packers beat the Lions, so it felt like really easily. Didn't feel like the Lions really had a chance that whole game, but and also can't believe the Chiefs lost, and that's probably why Logan didn't show up today. Outside of the fact that he's extremely busy, his Chiefs are struggling. But anyway, Dom, how was your Thanksgiving, my man?
Great, pretty good. Same with me. I love watching the games. Really kind of disappointed in the Ravens. That was really surprising, but awesome Thanksgiving, really good food. Next day I got to watch my Bears beat the Super Bowl champs. So all in all, pretty good break.
That was an insane beatdown. Like, oh man, that's got to feel good as a Bears fan.
Oh, it's too good to be true. Something bad will happen. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, you got the Packers this week, so battle for the top of the division. I still think the Bears might win that. Caleb, how about you? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good. Let's see. Ate food, tossed the old pigskin around. Usually, as you know, Cam, all the brothers get together. We play basketball or football. And this was a nice little reminder that my body is not as young as it used to be, even though I am not that old. But Lord, fellas, I was huffing and puffing. That's why I give still a lot of respect to guys like Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers who are in the league still doing it. But yeah, great football. It was tough watching, man. It was fun watching all the really good teams play on Thanksgiving and also Black Friday. And then it felt like Sunday came and all the trash teams came in. And I was like, this isn't as good. But overall, it was still football. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We've got Xavier in the chat. Says hello. Hope you guys are having a good day. What's your favorite team? I'll tell you right now, me and Caleb up here are Steelers fans. Alex, if you can't tell by his hoodie, he's a New York Giants fan.
Oh, come on.
and Dom, let me see. Dom, don't you have your jersey on?
I do. Hold on, let me see.
You got the. Let's go. Caleb. So Dom is a big Bears fan. So two of the people here are having a great season, and two of us are having an existential crisis right now. So anyway,
Also known as the average season for your team. But
that's
The
right.
same season we've had the past 5 seasons.
I'm a Eagle fan. Xavier, you're an Eagles fan. Dom sends his
Sorry about
apologies to you.
Friday. Sorry about that,
Yeah, Thanksgiving was rough. Me and Caleb are the older 2 brothers in our family. We've got 2 younger brothers, and we played 2-on-2 with them. And me and Caleb were on the same team, which seems wild that the 2 oldest brothers would be on the same team. But our 2 younger brothers are nasty, and we barely won. But it was no help from Caleb. It was all me, which I can't say often. Because I've definitely lost it. But I was hitting some shots. It was nice.
You were hitting, man. You still got it. You might have started up a
still
men's
got it
league
a
or
little
something.
Really quick, because we're getting close to the playoffs. I want to hear from each of you where you are right now. How many teams you're going to be advancing to the playoffs or projected to. So let me start with Alex. Do you know how many teams you're projected to take to the playoffs?
So I'm in 4 leagues. 2 of them redraft. In both of those, I'm going to the playoffs. I'm 10-3. Fighting for the 1 seed in one of them, 7-6, currently 3 seed in the other. And then I'm in 2 dynasty leagues. One of them is my 2nd year in, and I'm the 2 seed currently. So also going to the playoffs. And then the last one is hopefully a future team. It was 0-7, and I'm trying to tank, but I keep winning despite the fact I'm trying to tank. I'm now 4-9. And I'm the 2nd most points scored in the whole league, but I'm in a place. So I don't know. I'm very confused. I'm already eliminated from playoff contention. I have a lot of points, trying to tank, a lot of weird stuff going on, but 3 out of 4 leagues.
That's pretty good. That's very good, actually.
Yeah.
Dom, how about you? How are you doing?
Pretty good. My main league, I'm 6-7 in, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make playoffs. It's very it's such a mid league, not mid. It's just we're all kind of middle of the pack. We're all pretty good except for a couple of people, so everybody's trying to make playoffs. So there's I think on ESPN it said I had a 25% chance, but that's if the stars align and everything's
right.
Going good for me. But I have that league, and then I'm sure to make the dynasty league I'm in. And then I am in, I think the fan feed one I'm sure to make as well. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty well in the fan feed league. I think Alex is number 2 right now.
I'm number 2, 10-3.
Alex is number 2. Dom, where are you? You're number 4.
I'm 4, yeah.
And I'm 5th. And I'm just getting grilled on points scored right now. It is kind of wild. But yeah, no. Caleb, how about your teams?
Oh, man. It's been a weird year. I'm in 13 different leagues. It used to be 14 until I got chopped from a chop league I was in last week. So now it's just 13. But a lot of these leagues are just dynasty leagues, orphan teams I took over and I'm tanking, doing some small things. So I don't really look at all of them. I think right now I've got 5 teams that are making playoffs. And maybe 2, I'm maybe making it. It's going to really come down to this next week. One of my leagues I was really looking forward to, because I really enjoyed my draft. I've just had the worst year and points scored against, man. It's a team. I've got Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice, a couple other good guys. Just really good team. I'm a top 4 team in points scored, but I'm just getting absolutely dumpstered and points again. So I think I just got eliminated from playoffs. I played one of the worst teams this past week, and he had Kyle Monangai, Kamani Vidal, and somehow they all just dropped over 20 on my dome piece. So that hurt a lot. And then I just lost to Cam in my main dynasty league, and we were both fighting for a first round buy, and his team torched me. I didn't stand a chance. Thanks to Lamar Jackson giving me 7 on Thursday night. Yeah. So that felt really good.
Yeah, that was
not good.
That was the highlight of my Thanksgiving was whenever I play Caleb in Dynasty, he usually trumps me. It's just wild. And last year he won the championship in that league. But this year's my year. After I beat him, I sent the meme of CJ Stroud patting Caleb Williams' shoulder. Or no, Caleb Williams. Wait, no, it is CJ Stroud patting Caleb Williams' shoulder.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
Stroud.
just messaged Caleb and I said, "Hey man, don't worry, you're gonna be a great player in this league. Keep your head up, man. Keep your yeah. So for me, I'm having a great year. So 3 out of 5 redraft leagues are gonna make the playoffs, which is wild because my redraft teams have been really bad. I'm barely making the playoffs in most of those. One of them, I might make it, but I'm pretty sure I'm out. I am in a chopped league. I'm down in the bottom. I mean, how many teams are left? 6, like 6 teams maybe. So that's fun. And then dynasty is where I'm crushing. Usually I'm like rebuilding teams and all this stuff. This year I've got 7 out of my 11 dynasty leagues going to the playoffs. I've got, I think, four of those leagues, 4 of those teams have a first round bye. I'm the number 1 team in the league. So I'm feeling pretty good, man. I finally shifted my strategy in dynasty this year from always tanking and always rebuilding to actually like buying good players and keeping a good mix of young and, some veterans. And it's paid off handsomely, I would say. We'll see in a couple weeks because knowing my luck, I ain't winning nothing this year. So anyway, let's get into this. We've got something to show you guys. So we're going to look back at our 2025 mock draft. We had a lot of viewers join this draft, and it was a great time. It was our first fantasy podcast. It was the one that we were like, okay, this went so well. We're going to do this throughout the year. So that was fun. But we're going to take a look at our teams, and we're going to judge ourselves hard. We're going to see which guys hit and which guys were not hits. So here's the first half of the draft. I couldn't fit the whole draft board in. You've got Alex over here in the number 1 slot, Caleb at the 2nd draft slot. Dom is over there. What is that? The 6th slot. And then I'm right there at the 7th slot. So we were all right beside each other. You can also see Logan on the back end there.
Yeah.
So we'll start with this. Actually, I'll just go like this. Dom, looking at your team now, you started Saquon, Devin Achane, JSN, Jalen Hurts, Cortland Sutton, TJ Hawkinson. How do you feel about that draft?
I mean, that Achane and JSN stack is
Woo!
nasty. I mean,
nasty.
If you move CMC over and switch it with Saquon, that would be a fantastic draft. But obviously, we didn't know that the Eagles would offense would just die this season. So I'm happy with that stack. Jalen Hurts is a nice pick. I do think that one thing Alex said in that video that I totally agree with, and I should have probably listened to, was to wait on your quarterbacks. A lot of the time, you see guys right after him, right before him. Devontae Adams was right there. Who else? I mean, Egbuka was not too far after. So guys like that you could really grab so early. And quite honestly, I mean, Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts, but guys like Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott are good, and you could pick them up in the later.
Yeah, I was about to say Drake May. We'll probably see that in the next screenshot because Drake May went super late. A lot of late quarterbacks this year. This was definitely the year to go late quarterback. Caleb can probably say a lot about that because both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are on his dynasty team. Got to feel good having those 2 names in your starting lineup, but it hasn't really panned out very well this year. One thing I'm looking at on your draft selection there is you got sniped on Egbuka. I don't know if you were even thinking Egbuka before Sutton, but then Pickens right after. Oh,
yeah.
Dropped the ball.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen that NBA meme. It's like all those like great players, and it's just like that nobody, like in the NBA drafts. And it's just like that. Like, but that happens. Like, who knew Cortland Sutton would lose his job to Troy Franklin?
Dude,
and that's the beauty of like fantasy and football in general. So
it really is. All right, let's look at Caleb's team. Caleb, you started in the 2 slot. You started with Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey McBride, Amarian
Great
Hampton,
start.
Travis
Oh.
Hunter, Calvin Ridley. Almost so good. But you tell me,
Almost.
how do you feel?
Well, it's always easy to look back in hindsight and be like, what was I doing, in the moment? Because we don't know. But I really liked my start, starting with Jahmyr Gibbs, and then coming back around with Trey McBride. Obviously, have been hitting a lot more as of late. And just what O'Marion would have been if he had stayed healthy. He was really starting to come on. So I think that would have started off great. And that was kind of the idea, was to get my tight end and my running backs earlier, when usually I'm a very wide receiver heavy drafter in the first 5 rounds. But I changed it up, at least for this mock draft. And then honestly, though, if I'm real with myself, I probably would have missed on all my late round receivers like I so clearly already did with Calvin Ridley. And
Yeah.
who knows, maybe Travis Hunter. It's just guys I wasn't even thinking about, like the George Pickens, Chris Olave, Wandale Robinson is the 10th highest scorer in receivers right now. Like, I don't know who would have been thinking about that. If you were, then please tell me how you were on that.
Yeah.
So overall, I like the scheme, and I'll probably pursue that more and more redraft leagues next year. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the shift in strategy, because I know for the past 4, 5, 6 years, the real game-winning strategy has been that hero running back, the one running back, and then just smash receivers up until the 6th, 7th round. And you changed it up and took 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds and started with a tight end. So your first receiver came in round 4. And obviously it's Hunter. Unfortunately he didn't hit. We had he could have hit, but there are a lot of guys in this round 4, round 5 range. You got Devontae Adams, George Pickens, Emeka Egbuka. McLaurin's been hurt most of the season. Jameson Williams been okay. Rashee Rice would have been a good one, but you'd have to wait on him.
A lot of those wide receiver
twos. Yeah, even Chris Olave was such a value.
Yeah. A lot of those high-end wide receiver twos, like Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, guys like that were going around here maybe later, and that wouldn't have been a bad bet, honestly.
No. I do like your team quite a lot here. Just the receivers, the Calvin Ridley thing too. I feel like everybody was hyping up Calvin Ridley. And that did not. And that's a good lesson for everybody. The reason Calvin Ridley, I think, and y'all can shout it out if you agree or disagree.
But Jaden Daniels
I think,
effect.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley got boosted up because just last year, Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin were this dynamic duo. And so Calvin Ridley goes to Cam Ward. We saw in preseason that he was ultra targeting Calvin Ridley. And so it just felt like such an easy bet. Okay, the veteran is the guy that Cam Ward's going to lean on. However, there's a big difference between Terry McLaurin and Calvin Ridley over their career. Calvin Ridley has not been the same ever since he was in Atlanta. Never really has been very good since then. Whereas Terry McLaurin's been pretty good even with these trash quarterbacks that he's played with in Washington. So betting on talent, I think, is the lesson there. So let's go to you, Alex. Let's look at your team. You started with Jamar Chase at the 1 spot, Chase Brown, little Bengal stack, Kyron Williams, Mike Evans, and Tyreek Hill. How do you feel about that start looking back?
Yeah, so Jamar Chase at the 1. He was the consensus one, and he's shown it. He's been one of the best in fantasy all year. Yeah. So I think I made the right choice there. Chase Brown has performed about to expectation, maybe a little bit below, but he's been catching up in recent weeks. Kyron Williams, kind of the same thing. I think he's around the 12 territory or so, running back 12 this year. So not mad about either of those picks. Unfortunately, it fell off at the next turn when I picked up 2 guys who had some good performances and then got injured and have not played since. So unfortunate with the injuries there. I think I had some good picks later, but we'll get to those. And the 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, not bad. Would have ended up probably a little bit above average of a team. But what I noticed is I'm just looking across and I'm realizing how many guys got injured. Like not a single player on this list, not a single team on this list escaped without an injury.
Yep.
And that's insane how many good players in fantasy football got injured this season. Just except for honestly you, Dom. Nobody on your team really got injured, but Saquon just
or me.
well, so kind of weird.
Yeah, or just bad team play.
Yeah, and then Kenneth Walker just being bad at football is not.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Recently he's
football.
been pretty decent.
Yeah.
Turn the form.
Do you think he's bad at football, Alex, or do you think it's the coaching? I think that's a big conversation
I think it's
people
a
have been
weird
having.
situation with Charbonnet in Seattle.
Who do you like better, Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker as a talent?
I like Kenneth Walker as a player more. He just doesn't get the usage he needs.
Yeah. Looks like Dom had to hop off for a second, or maybe he accidentally jumped off. So while he's gone, real quick, I do want to answer this question. We've got Kenan Dolick. What's up, Kenan Dolick? Says, hey, y'all. Thoughts on the squad for the playoffs? It's a redraft, 12-man, 3 receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex. He's got Dak, JT, Josh Jacobs, Kyron. That's great. JSN, CeeDee Lamb, Cortland Sutton, Oronde Gadsden, Texans defense. Great team. And Jacoby Myers. On the bench, you've got Watson. Who is Watson? Why am I blanking on Watson?
Christian
Watson. Christian Watson.
Deshaun
Chris
Watson.
Godwin.
Not Deshaun.
Emmanuel Wilson, Blake Corum, Waller, and Reed. Dude, I don't know notes, right?
Yeah,
I mean, is
no notes.
That's a great team.
No notes. I don't know how you came away with majority of those guys. That's really good.
Yeah, it looks like 5 guys who went in the first 3 rounds, but I
that's
guess
solid, man.
Job.
You should feel very confident.
Well, yeah, and I love. Go ahead, Dom. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just reiterating what you guys were saying. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, and it's a 12-man league.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Jeez.
Well done.
For you.
I want to point out that I really like your bench. You know, having both Christian Watson and Chris Godwin, because Sutton's a guy that I'm kind of iffy on. But Watson's been playing super well right now, and if he's available in anybody's leagues, he should not be. He should be scooped up immediately. And Chris Godwin's starting to come on finally after the injury. But then over on the running back side, you've got Emmanuel Wilson and Blake Corum, just 2 high, upside handcuffs for your 2 running backs. This is just well done. Well done. Let us know how your playoff run goes, because you're definitely in there. All right, so I'll go through my team. So I was in the 7th slot. I took Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Kenneth Walker, Devontae Adams, George Pickens, Rome Odunze. Pretty happy with this team. It's funny because when we did this draft, this was a lot of people that I know, and they know how I like to draft, which is rookie heavy. So if you look over at Time for School's team, what a terrible team. It's a great team on paper, but you lose Neighbors for the season, Bowers for the season, Travion, he's barely coming on now. RJ Harvey barely coming on now. Igbuka started off hot, but has flamed out. Not trying to bash him, but this is a team that I would have loved to have drafted. Like, I would have loved to start Malik Neighbors and Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
But I started McCaffrey and A.J. Brown. And honestly, this was the one I auto-drafted A.J. Brown on. Not upset. I probably would have taken Bowers or Achane there in hindsight, but I auto-drafted. But either way, it's not a bad team. A.J. Brown and Kenneth Walker just struggles. I mean, A.J. Brown's been playing well the last few weeks, so that's been fine. And I probably would have been able to survive with Devontae and Pickens and even Odunze, because Odunze's starting to taper off now while AJ's starting to heat up. So that might have worked out. McCaffrey was the pick. I think that I love the most about this, because I think we had this conversation, was like there was so much risk involved. He had the Achilles strain, or what was it? Achilles tendonitis.
Mm-hmm.
Really scary injury. And, I just basically made the bet, and it's safe because it was a mock draft. There was no money involved in this, but my bet was that McCaffrey would just be the best player in fantasy football if he stays healthy. And sure enough, he has stayed healthy. Don't know how, because they've given him even more work than he has in the last few years. He's on pace to have his second 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard receiving season ever.
Lord.
Yeah,
So crazy.
So McCaffrey was like, at 29 years
28.
old, coming off Achilles
29.
tendonitis.
Yeah.
What a dog.
Love that. Devontae Adams was a pick that, I think stands out too. Both Adams and Pickens. Pickens was a guy I was very high on, just being a Steelers fan and knowing how good he is and how bad the Steelers are. It felt like a really good bet of him going to Dallas, that he was going to be good. So I think those picks saved me. Honestly, I really like those two picks. So I don't mind this team. I think I would have struggled to find a second running back, because starting Kenneth Walker and getting my 8 points per week would have been extremely frustrating. So are there any other teams on this list that you guys see that you're like, oh yeah, this was a fantastic start?
I don't know about fantastic. I would like to take a look at Logan's team. And I don't want to trash him while he's not here. And this is nothing against Logan, because I would have loved to draft this team. Like, this would have been like one of my dream teams. Like Ashton Genty and Brian Thomas in the first 2 rounds is what you would like. Everybody and their mother was telling you, yeah, that's perfect. Him, Chuba Hubbard, like just these first couple of picks make me feel bad, because I know people who drafted these types of teams.
Yeah. The injuries, Alex brought it up earlier. The injuries this year have been atrocious. This has been one of the worst years for injuries, and I think it's going to make 2026 drafts very, very interesting, because some of these guys who have done really well this season are going to, rise up because they have stats to show from last year. And some of these injured guys are going to drop. So there's going to be a lot of value if you're willing to take risks on guys like Malik Neighbors, or Bauer's not going to be much of a risk, but I mean, he's had out most of the season. Jaden Daniels has been out for most of the year. I could see him dropping another round or two at least. Just interesting strategy looking back on some of this stuff. Was there any other teams that you guys thought were really nice?
There's a couple teams that look amazing now. Like, if they were going into the fantasy playoffs, these teams would be insane. However, for example, I think the second to last team, I can't read its name, but
Hung Main.
If Hung Main was going into the fantasy playoffs, I would love to have that team, because Jaden Daniels is likely coming back. Waddle and Nakua is just on another level, and then Derrick Henry, I've been high on him all year. Plus Kittle's been great.
Yeah, the big dog about to start eating.
Unfortunately, I got to admit that our buddy Dave over here had a heater, man, starting with CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, he went out for a little bit, but coming back with Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen, Marvin Harrison, James Conner, but then he comes back and gets Chris Olave.
Yeah, Chris Olave was a great selection.
Yeah, I think he would have been eating a little bit.
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Wow.
We're going to look at this second half of the board. We'll try to go a little quicker on this one. Alex, we'll start with you. I'm trying to see if I can. So, okay. So this is your second side of the board. You went David Montgomery, Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins, Kyler Murray, Michael Pittman, Kyle Pitts, Brock Purdy. And just to preface this is the part of the board where there's a lot of dart throws. And, I don't want to focus too much on, you failed on this guy or that guy or the other. But, we can also, I really want to point out who are the value guys and why were they values, and what was the strategy behind that value. So go ahead.
For me, it's Michael Pittman. That was a huge hit. I think as of 2 weeks ago, he was the wide receiver 8. He's still hanging around there, top 10, I think. Michael Pittman, he was just a guy I liked because I know what he had been for the 2 seasons before last year. He was wide receiver 20 both seasons. And that was with, I think, old Phillip Rivers and old Matt Ryan as his quarterbacks. So anybody who could just get him the ball, pocket passers, he was productive. He was one of the better fantasy receivers. And I trusted Daniel Jones enough. I had Michael Pittman tentatively at 35 in my receiver rankings. And then the minute that Jones won the starting job, he moved up a little bit. So I liked Pittman. The problem with waiting for a quarterback is sometimes you grab them and then they get benched for Jacoby Brissett. That was Kyler Murray this year. And then I also did it with Justin Fields a lot. And that was Tyrod Taylor took his job and Purdy got injured. So obviously I would have had to hit the QB waiver wire, maybe pick up a Daniel Jones in this league. But yeah, not too mad with getting Pittman late. Dobbins was good for some weeks. And then Mark Andrews, I'm a fan of how he's turned out this year. So
yeah, I think he's starting to play a lot better right now. I think he's going to be a huge value here in the playoffs too. Let's go to Dom. Dom, you were at the 6th spot. You went with after Cortland Sutton, TJ Hawkinson. You went Tony Pollard, Jacoby Myers, Josh Downs, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby, Xavier Legette.
Yeah, man. Looking at it's a little rough. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's a little rough, but that's we talked about it's a lot of dart throws. Like first thing comes to mind when I see like Tony Pollard. My thinking going into that was Tajay Spears was out. I was gonna have my first half of the season with Tony Pollard, Cam Ward. If he's a little successful, which spoiler, he didn't turn out so successful. He'd be able to get a lot of checkdowns, use the run game a little bit more, that short to intermediate passing game. So I was hoping for that, especially in a lot of PPR leagues, but didn't turn out the way I think everybody wanted it. I am really happy with my Jalen Warren pick. He was really good with the first half of the year. Kenneth Gainwell has kind of emerged as like the RB1A, RB like 1B type of deal with them, but still pretty happy with Jalen Warren. Tank Bigsby was my sleeper. I thought he was going to go to the moon, and then he ended up going to Philadelphia. So, so definitely not good with there. But like everybody else is saying, a lot of dart throws. So, and that's what happened. Josh Downs was good for a couple weeks. Jacoby Myers, if I was in the playoffs somehow, he would be a starter on my team in the playoffs right now. So.
Yeah. No, I do like the team, especially Warren. Warren was a great value pick, and Jacoby Myers. Those are the two guys that stand out the most to me. I think the process was right on Downs. It just hasn't come to fruition. Alec Pierce, just too good. All right, let's go over to Caleb. Back in the 2 slot, he takes Mahomes, Stephon Diggs, Juwan Jennings, Jaden Higgins, Marvin Mims, Darnell Mooney, Ramondre Stevenson. What do you like there, Cabes?
As much as I like to say that I was all in Mahomes, I'm pretty sure I auto picked on the Mahomes one. I was considering it, pick. But yeah, great auto pick. As he is I think he's the number 1 QB in points right now. I'm not.
Allen is, wrong. But Mahomes is number 2.
Is it? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this was the thought process: just stack up on receivers. That could emerge later. I loved Drake May this year, and I wanted to take a bet on one of the New England receivers, and Diggs just felt like the safest one. And I think he's been a decent flex play. I know the Patriots are weird, man. He'll have a game like last night. I think he had like 3 catches for, I don't know, 30-something yards. And then he has games where he's got like 9 catches for 140. Right. So it's not a bad bet. Juwan Jennings was a guy I was getting a lot in drafts this year. Funny story. And the league that I'm in with Cam, the Dynasty League, the one I won last year, I tanked my first year. And Juwan Jennings was my wide receiver 1 after I'd sold everyone off. And this is when he was the wide receiver 3 behind Ayuk and Devo. And everybody made fun of me. And then right when I drop him to the waiver wire, somehow he becomes good. I'm like, wow.
He's a dog.
Gotta love that. But it felt right with Juwan. Obviously, the 49er receiver room had a lot of question marks. There were some injuries. Ricky Pearsall was kind of like the consensual person that everybody liked. But I was more in Juwan, and he's starting to come on now later in the year. I think he was having some problems the first half of the year. Obviously, the whole San Fran team was having offensive problems between injuries. And I know he was mad about not getting paid. Then Jaden Higgins. I think I got Jaden Higgins, man, in almost every single league I did this year. This was like my favorite rookie. Him and Luther Burden were like the two guys I came away with almost every draft. And I'm still happy about Jaden Higgins. I think if the offense was a little more efficient, and if Stroud was kind of maybe playing a little more better football and the play calling was better, I really, really believe that Jaden Higgins would have hit a lot sooner this season. He's starting to come on the past couple games. But I think Jaden Higgins is I think he's very similar to Nico Collins. But I think he is a little better in some other areas, but not as good in a couple other areas. Marvin Mims, golly, I should have known taking any Broncos receiver. I was, after watching that game last year with Cincy and Denver and the crazy shootout game, one of the best games I've ever seen, I was convinced. I said, okay, Marvin Mims is wide receiver 2, and he's a dog. Boy, was I wrong. Anyways, Darnell Mooney, hurt all year. Ramondre Stevenson, it would have probably kind of worked out for me, even though I would have hated it, but it kind of worked out. I don't know. That's debatable. But like I said, the whole thought process was just taking, high upside players who didn't have a lot of competition in the way, or just talented players who could play their way into a more prominent role in the offense. And I think the processes was okay with a couple of these guys. Could have been better though. Could have came away with some better picks, that's for sure. But
could have taken Pittman over Mims.
Yeah, I could have taken Pittman over Mims. And I had to scroll over. I had to scroll over and look at Logan's, and man, he had Javonte and Debo late.
And
that's
Dak.
Crazy.
And the Broncos
and
defense.
Dak.
Yeah.
Wow.
Logan definitely made up for the early draft bust that he had with some of those guys. All right, so real quick, I'll go to 7. I followed up with Odunze, Quinshon Judkins, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Jaden Blue, Drake May, Chig Okonkwo, and Harold Fannin. Obviously, Harold Fannin was my big hit from this one, just being so late, and just he wasn't even like anywhere near this ADP. I was definitely a reach, but I was just convinced the best player to ever come out of Bowling Green. So that was a big hit. Drake May, obviously, I know Alex likes that pick.
Drake May.
He crushed.
Drake May.
And then those rookie running backs, it took the trio of guys. Quinshon Judkins definitely hit. That was a big hit. So that makes up for my Kenneth Walker play. So that would have been nice. Bill, the process was right because he did get a lot of play. He just wasn't very good. And so he's a guy that, I'm willing to take. Again, I would probably draft another guy just like him next year because he got plenty of opportunity early on in the year. He just didn't pan out to be good. Jaden Blue, that sad story. Like the guys I could have taken Javonte Williams. I took Jaden Blue over Javonte Williams. And that is where I always mess up in redraft is, I get rookie fever. So that's a great thing to learn from me is the strategy of don't just always fall in love with the new rookie, especially Jaden Blue, who's a 4th round guy when Javonte Williams was a former 2nd round pick. And the team reports were very high on him coming out of preseason. Is there any other picks in this draft that you see that are really good? I can tell you one right now is over there at B. Sapino. I think he was the 10th pick. He got Scatabo in the 10th round.
Yeah.
That was a big hit until Scatabo went down with injury. And he also
Tucker
took
Kraft
Keenan Allen.
Man. Tucker Kraft was a good one. But unfortunately, he got injured. Huge. It was good for a while, that's for sure.
Dude, yeah, Kraft, I mean, I think we could all agree on this that Kraft probably would have been a top 5 tight end. If not, maybe even top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to shout. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my fault. I was going to shout Cam out for making that Harold Fannin pick. He was so hyped about that in the draft. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's nice when they hit. We won't remember the Jaden Blue one, but we will remember Harold Fannin.
Of course.
shout out to Dave. He took Tyler Warren and Travis Etienne, 7th to 8th round. And that was a very, very good set of picks, I would say. I'm trying to see, is there anybody else on here that we like? I think that's pretty good. Luther Burden did not pan out. It's a bummer. All right, let's do this. Trying to find the right setup. So now what we're going to do, there we go. Now what we're going to do, we're going to look towards the 2026 draft. We're going to look through the first round and see some current draft rankings. And I just want to comment quickly on like which guys we like the most out of the first round, and then which guys we think will probably not be worth the first round pick as of right now. So I'll read this off to you. It's Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor. Well, let's just start with the top 6. Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, Devin Achane, Christian McCaffrey. I'll start with Alex. Alex, is there somebody in here that you feel like probably is going to drop out of the top 6 or will be a bust in the top 6 out of these guys?
Who was the other receiver other than Jamar Chase?
Is just Jamar Chase. So 5 running backs and 1 receiver is Jamar Chase.
Who was the 5th guy you said?
It was Devin Achane.
Oh, Devon Achane. Out of the 6 of them, I might have to go with CMC. It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just think he has the highest fall off potential out of them. Like we're seeing him, he is the number 1 running back in fantasy this year. However, he is completely receptions based. He's not that efficient on the ground. It is just receptions. Next year, it's going to be a healthier offense. And also, I mean, I hate to go by trends like this because they're so arbitrary, but he hasn't had 2 healthy seasons in a row in his whole career. So, yeah, it's going to be, I would say Christian McCaffrey out of those 6, just because the others have proven themselves so strong, like to be such strong fantasy players for sure.
Yeah. Dom, is there anybody there? Do you agree with Alex, or do you think there's somebody else there that you will bust out of the top 6?
I could definitely see CMC. I have another guy, and I own him in a league, so maybe I'm a little biased. And sometimes he busts, especially with his quarterback play. I could see Bijan Robinson losing a lot of opportunity to Tyler Algier. For some reason, that regime likes to use Algier a ton in the red zone. And I know, crazy take. I know, that's okay. I listen, and I hope it doesn't happen because I really do love Bijan. And Bijan's like a fantastic real life running back, but sometimes they don't use him right. They don't use him in the passing game. Sometimes Kirk Cousins can't throw a 5-yard curl route, so it depends a lot on the situation. I think the Falcons get way better, and I think my take goes out the window. But there is that chance where unless they get rid of Algier. If they get rid of Algier, my take goes completely out the window as well. So it's a very terrible take. I understand that, but it's a very real possibility that he loses a lot of touches for some reason to another running back in the red zone like Algier.
Yeah, so currently Tyler Algier will be a 2026 free agent. However, the Falcons absolutely adore Algier, and I would not be surprised to see him sign a contract extension for 3-4 years. They love this guy, and owning Bijan is so frustrating because he's so good, and he's capable of putting up the JT, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan CMC numbers, but he gets just vultured so much on the goal line, and it is pain. Caleb, is there anybody else out of this top 6 that you would say would bust out of there?
Yes. And I don't think anyone's going to like this. I will not be taking Jonathan Taylor if I have a top 6 pick.
That was mine.
He's just obviously having a bonkers year. And he did this back in, 2021?
Yep.
2020? 21? And it's just regression. It happens every year. Almost never do we have the same player who's a top fantasy guy repeat it the same year. It is so, as good as these guys are, it is so difficult to do a year after year after year. Saquon Barkley last year was ripping 50-yard, 60-yard, 70-yard runs left and right. scoring, touchdowns just, every week. And now we're seeing what Saquon's doing. And obviously it's not all Saquon's fault. I think the play calling's pretty bad in Philly. And it's not working out for him. But along with Jonathan Taylor, I love the player. He's really good, but it is going to be near impossible for him to repeat the same year he did this year. I think a touchdown regression comes. I don't think there's as many 70-yard bombs ripped. It's just near impossible. And it might be crazy to say, but I don't know if I would take him in the top 10, honestly. I think what I would do if it was me, I would potentially get him if I had the last pick of the draft at the turn, which obviously probably won't happen because he's going to be going in the top 5. But if it fell, I'd probably take him at the turn along with someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I like the other 5 guys. I'd probably rearrange them differently, but not bad.
Yeah, I was going to agree with the Jonathan Taylor take, and it's just the same bet as Saquon from last year. Jonathan Taylor's had a bonkers start to the year. He's really cooled down the last couple weeks, and he's still good. It's not a bet saying that he's bad. It's just this is the top 6 players in the draft, and he just feels like a guy that he'll be 27 next year. The offense was kind of this new thing, and the Colts as a whole have started fading. It feels like teams have kind of figured out a little bit of what they're doing. I still think Jonathan Taylor's worth like a top 10 pick. I'd probably start thinking about him after like pick 8. He and I would say Devin A-Chain. And the only reason I say A-Chain because I love him. He's like one of my favorite players. Is if Mike McDaniels gets fired. That offense could be extremely different. The Tua stuff, Tua could be gone. We could be looking at a really, I don't know. It could be Quinn Ewers starting for them next year. Probably not. Could be Zach Wilson. Could be Davis Mills or Jacoby Brissett, which I think all of us would go, yes. But that will be one he's going to be a very fragile top 6.
And one thing I forgot to mention is his schedule has been incredible this year. I mean, you got Miami, Tennessee, Denver was one. Denver has a run funnel defense, as we know. And then he plays the Rams, and he has 14 points. Las Vegas, 31. Arizona, 23. Chargers, 34. Tennessee, 37. Pittsburgh, 7. Atlanta, 49. Kansas City, 8 points. Houston Texans, 15 points. So it's like a very light schedule. And then every time he did play a well-coached defense, which was only like 3, he was, for the most part, withheld. Meant to add that earlier.
Yeah. All right. So I think, Alex, you've got to go.
Yeah, I got to head out. But
all right,
I will say, I think that next year, Amarian Hampton is going to be very undervalued. I think people are going to be like, he didn't get much playing time. He went around the 4th round in most leagues this year. I think he might go 4th round again next year. I would take it. I think he is 2nd round value. So I love Amarian Hampton. I love what we saw from him. He'll be one of my sleepers next year in the mid round.
I love that. Real quick, Alex, before you go, is there anybody on the waiver wire that you're looking at for your playoff run? Any big names that you're like, I have to get them, or is it kind of just team need?
It's based on your team need. If Christian Watson is out there, I would go get him because he is valuable. I also see some in one of my leagues, Isaiah Pacheco was available, and in some leagues, Trey Benson's there. So if either of those guys are on your league because people dropped them when they got injured, pick them up for the playoffs. They'll be good. Those are my guys.
100%. All right, Alex. Thanks for being here, dude.
All right.
We will
see y'all.
See you, Alex.
See you later.
All right, real quick, we got Troy in here. Troy said he's got Bijan Robinson. Hope he goes off in the playoffs, but yeah, he could definitely lose some touches. So he's agreeing with you, Dom, that Bijan could lose some touches. Bummer. All right, let's go through the next 5 and up until pick 12. So right now we've got JSN, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Rashee Rice, Ashton Genty, Devontae Adams. That's the top 12. That is crazy to have Devontae Adams at the 12th pick. I would say right off. I'll start with this one. I'm just going to say Genty and Devontae are going to be my 2 busts there. I think that I just think Genty's going to be stuck in a bad offense again next year. They've got a lot of work to do. Still believe in the player. He just should be going closer to like round 3. And then Devontae Adams, like super touchdown dependent. I still love the player, but he's old. I mean, he'll be 33 next year. And I just think that he's going to be a guy that should probably go later, second to third round still, rather than the first round. Any guy that's buoyed by touchdowns, you just got to be wary of him going into the following year. Dom, who do you see here that you think might bust? Or is there a guy here that you're like, this guy should be going higher?
I'm looking at this right now, and I was looking at it before as well. I was looking at. I agree with you 100% about the Devontae Adams thing. Like, I was looking at a stat before of just he leads the league in touchdowns, so he has 14 touchdowns. I think he has 22 red zone targets, which is like absurd. So
It's
like
insane.
for like a 32-year-old guy, like he's not going to have that same role next year, especially if Puka Nacua is still there. I don't even know if he still stays with LA. Like, I don't know how long his contract is. I don't know what his regression looks like. You see guys like D-Hop, 1 year they're fantastic. They're making fantastic catches for the Cardinals, and then another year they're on the Ravens and they're the third string wide receiver. So regression can happen like that. We already thought he regressed after leaving Green Bay, so I would probably value him less a little bit. I'd like to do something a little different. I'd like to move JSN up. I would put JSN in that first round.
Yeah.
I hearing that he was in that that second tier players. That upset me a lot because I don't. He's not going to have any
I took that
competition.
personally.
And I took that very personally because I drafted him in that fan feed mock draft, and that was my guy from day one. So yeah, I really think that Cooper Kupp isn't going to be anywhere. The only competition he's going to have is probably Rashid Shaheed and maybe Torrey Holton if he takes the next step. But I think if anything, he's in that tier 1 of guys.
Yeah, I love that. Cabes, what about you, dude?
Read the picks again.
JSN, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Rashee Rice, Genty, Devontae.
Yeah, I love JSN. I love CD. I love Rashee Rice. And it breaks my heart that he's now going to be a first-round pick because it was so nice getting him late in drafts the past couple of years. So I won't be able to take advantage of that. I'm right there with you. As much as I love Genty, it's just going to be tough to see him, do anything more than what he's doing now, unless Raiders somehow pull off a miracle and just absolutely upgrade the offense in some miraculous way. But you have a O-line that's falling apart and getting worse and injured. You got Geno Smith, who can't push the ball down the field. And you've got offensive coordinators that don't want to scheme you any better plays than a halfback dive or a halfback belly.
Right.
So it's tough. And I'm really surprised that he's actually on this list, to be honest with you. But yeah, same thing with Devontae, man. I love Devontae. And he fits the scheme. They have a perfect scheme for him this year in LA, and they've executed it beautifully. I mean, honestly, Matt Stafford to Devontae Adams in the red zone within 5 yards is almost as sure a bet as a Jalen Hurts tush push on the goal line. It's been incredible to see. But yeah, Devontae's getting older. The touchdown regression is going to hit. I think he'll still be a decent player to have, but I would not be drafting him this high.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move to the next tier. The first half of the second round. There's some good names here that I can see changing around. So we've got Amon-Ra at 13, Josh Jacobs, Malik Neighbors, James Cook, Drake London, Bucky Irving. So that's 13 through 18. Let's start with you, Dom. Is there somebody in that list that you're feeling negative on? And then is there someone in that list that you're like, that guy needs to go higher? Just let me know if I need to read it again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties. You guys keep going out for me.
Okay.
Can you
Caleb,
yeah, I mean, I'm here now. If you
okay.
If you can repeat
I'll read it
I'm
again.
sorry about that.
Yep. It's Amon-Ra, Josh Jacobs, Malik Neighbors, James Cook, Drake London, Bucky Irving.
Ooh, I know we have some Bucky Irving lovers out here, but he
Yeah.
might have some regression. There's a lot of competition in that backfield, like specifically Sean Tucker. I don't see Rashad White as a threat. I think Sean Tucker is going to take a big step up in that offense. I think he's what they want consistently. I know Bucky Irving gets hurt a lot. I know injury concerns are a big thing. So especially even with Rashad White, he's in and out of that lineup. I see Bucky Irving as that guy who could take that regression. But a lot of those guys I think are pretty solid on that list for tier 3 guys.
Yeah. How do you feel about Neighbors coming off the ACL?
I don't mind that. I don't mind that he's in that tier as much as other people would. I think that he's it's hard to say because you don't want to. It's a tough position because you don't want to let that guy go into round 4. We saw it with
Right.
I know Rashee Rice wasn't injured as much as it was more legal trouble than anything, but you let that guy go, and now what? He's a top 5 wide receiver, and going into fantasy playoffs with a fantastic schedule. So you let that guy go, and you run the risk of letting a Puka Nakua or JSN go from this year. So
Yeah.
I don't think he should be a tier lower. I think you should draft him with caution. If anything, I would draft another wide receiver above him in case he does have a regression type season or his quarterback play is still um, below what we think he should have.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Cabes, out of that list, you need me to read it again?
Yeah, one more time. I'm sorry.
Amon Ra, Josh Jacobs, Malik Neighbors, James Cook, Drake London, Bucky Irving.
Okay. I do this every year, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not taking Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, I am very big on only taking receiving backs unless one of these bruisers just fall to me and I have to take them. But the upside is just so limited with guys like Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, these guys who even Jonathan Taylor don't see a lot in the receiving game and aren't on the field for all 3-4 downs.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs was in a beautiful position to where he could just run in every touchdown every time they went into the red zone. And again, it seems to be the theme tonight, but these guys who are very touchdown dependent, it's just hard to really believe in them and keep drafting them, especially as they get older, especially with the Green Bay Packers offense that I still have very little faith in.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll prove me wrong again. Who knows? Maybe Josh Jacobs again goes for 12 to 15 touchdowns and just keeps doing it. But I'm willing to wait and take the younger upside player that has that receiving upside that hasn't fully hit their ceiling yet. The other guy that's kind of in the middle for me along that is James Cook because he also scores a lot of touchdowns. He's also kind of ripped off some bigger runs this year. However, he has kind of set himself apart from the other running backs in this room. I know there was a lot of talk about Ray Davis. And then they've been weirdly using, oh my gosh, the guy from New York. I can't remember his name.
Ty Johnson.
That's the one. Yep. Buffalo Bills, man, it's just such a weird offense to buy into. And I don't like taking anyone except for Josh Allen from this offense because you never know what the game plan is going to be sitting around for that week. 1 week it's Khalil Shakir, another it's Keon Coleman, next it's Tyrell Shavers, Dalton Kincaid, and then James Cook. James Cook has been very solid this year. I will say I've very much enjoyed watching James Cook play this year, but I'm still more leaning taking guys like Bucky Irving, potentially on Amarian Hampton, over these two running backs. But the others are pretty good. Maybe a little spoiler, but I'm probably taking Trey McBride in this group at this point in the draft.
Yeah, that'll be in the next tier, and I was going to say the same thing. But, yeah, on this tier, this feels like a fragile spot of the draft, very fragile. Whereas before, those like the back into the draft, like if you're in the 12 spot and you get that double tap in the second round, it feels so good. This one does not feel nearly as good as it has the past few years. Like Amon-Ra is a good one. I like Amon-Ra because he's so consistent, but then Jacobs don't want. Malik Neighbors scares me. The data on receivers coming off of ACLs is bad. And the only good thing for Neighbors is like the quarterback play improves, and he's so young that you hope he can make a really quick and strong recovery.
Has there been any timeline on that? Do you guys know? Will he be back week 1?
From what I had heard, I think it was him that they had struggled. He just had surgery a couple 5 weeks ago. So he had that injury for a couple weeks, and they were waiting for the swelling to go down on his knee before they did surgery. So he didn't get that immediate surgery to fix it. So his status is up in the air for week 1. So that's going to be a big one that we're going to have to wait and see. James Cook, like you said, Cabe's fragile. Drake London. I love Drake London. He was a top 5 receiver before he got hurt this year. He was balling out.
He's for me.
Yeah, so he's one that I like, but after owning him for these many years, I also know how fragile he can be. So Bucky Irving, I think Drake London and Bucky Irving are my 2 favorites in this tier. Because Bucky, I didn't know this, Dom, when you were saying it earlier, but reading this note here, Rachaad White is an unrestricted free agent and Sean Tucker is a restricted free agent. Both of them are free agents in 26. So this could be Bucky's backfield by a mile. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, that's an interesting tier right there. You're definitely going to want to be closer to the front half of the draft, I feel like. All right, this is the last tier we'll do for today. And this will end out the second round. And I think this is a juicy tier. Juicy. Got Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Nico Collins, Marion Hampton, Justin Jefferson, and Chase Brown. Caleb, let's start with you. Who are your favorite guys in that tier? And then also who are the guys you want to avoid, shy away from there?
Gosh, this one's tough. I mean, we're talking at least 3 of these players probably going to have a different QB by next year. With McBride, Bowers, J-Jeff. I forgot who were the other 2 you said. It was Omarion and
Nico, Omarion, and Chase Brown.
Yeah, Nico, I think it's going to be a steal. I'm still a lover of Nico. I think Texans get their O-line together. He should be going in the tier above this. I think Trey McBride and Brock Bowers were going around this range in this past year's draft. So it seems like not much has changed. But I love getting the tight end with Brock and Trey McBride. I mean, you can just see every single year. It's 2 or 3 guys that just make a name for themselves. Sometimes you can get lucky getting the Tucker crack to Tyler Warren late in the draft. But, you just never know with that. But, man, dude, just Trey McBride, if I can go on a quick rant, everyone – Trey McBride last year was just as good almost as any other top-tier receiver if he had the touchdowns with him. This is a guy who was getting 8 to 12 catches a game, over 100 receiving yards, and no touchdowns. The stat is crazy. I forgot what it was. It was 2 touchdowns in the past 3 years, but now this year so far he's got 6, 7.
I think he might have 8.
The 8, okay. So you see when the touchdowns come, I mean, we're looking at a guy who's averaging 20 to 25 points, 20 to 30 points. I think he's had a couple 27s. Which, if you think about it, is like prime Justin Jefferson numbers when he was balling out with Kirk. So I know it's scary, having to, put the receiver and the running back position on the back burner to the next round and getting your tight end. But you were getting an absolute game changer that nobody else will have the edge on. So, I love all these guys. I wouldn't move them. Probably I'll be getting these guys earlier in the second round. That's a fun set.
That's a fun tier. All right, Dom. Who do you got here?
Man, just the name that kind of screams out to me is that Justin Jefferson pick, and it's just you going into next season. I'm so interested to see what happens because obviously they cannot stick with JJ McCarthy going into next.
Yeah.
Just JJ McCarthy. I personally think it's going to be a quarterback battle. I think they're going to bring in somebody like a Brissett, somebody like an older veteran quarterback, even a Tyrod Taylor, somebody who could challenge him. If he doesn't play well, they're serviceable and they could still play. Even a Joe Flacco, if he continues to play through his 100
Right.
years playing,
What if it's
I
Kyler Murray?
ooh, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Then that's a bad bet. If Kyler Murray's then you don't touch anybody on the Vikings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gosh, but man, that would be really bad.
Nightmare fuel.
That yeah,
Lord.
I don't. Oh, sorry, that threw me off. But
Okay.
Had to throw it in there.
yeah, but it's a real possibility, and depending on what happens, you gotta. I wouldn't even. I don't think I'm touching him. I think he's gonna turn into a Garrett Wilson type player where you're hoping every year he's gonna be good and he's gonna have a breakout year where it doesn't happen. Does good, and then it's sad because until he goes to another team, and that's a real possibility too. If he goes to another team, he's probably moving up a couple tiers. If he goes and maybe takes a place somewhere, I don't know. If Devontae retires and he
Right.
takes a place on the Rams, his value goes up exponentially, even like fringe first, second round. So that's a player you have to gauge on what happens this offseason. But another guy, Brock Bowers, comes to mind, and it's just that offense is kind of just gross, like we said before, Genty. So I think he's just somebody you wait and see with. If it doesn't improve, I just think you stay away. You take a Trey McBride, or you wait for another tight end like a Tucker Kraft, who's gonna slide up. He'll probably be in the next tier, if anything.
Yeah. I to me, McBride and Bowers, those guys should be back into the first round. It should be right after that tier of receivers of like Rashee Rice, Puka, CeeDee Lamb. They should replace the Ashton Genty, Devontae Adams guys. And those guys should switch back down to this spot. I do like Nico Collins and Omarion Hampton. Like Alex said earlier, Omarion Hampton, I don't think he'll go this early, to be totally honest with you guys.
I don't think so either.
But I'm definitely going to be betting on him because he didn't have like a major injury. It was just an injury that's kept him out for a while. Najee Harris is nothing, and this will be his backfield. And we've seen Kamani Vidal be really good, and Kamani Vidal is not good. So Omarion's going to be really good next year. He's going to be a great value. And Nico Collins, like I love buying on players who have been really good for multiple seasons and then have a down season, and it's not really their fault. I think Nico is a guy that I could see bounce back really easily here. And then like the Chase Brown, I don't care. Like I don't care.
That's just something you're filling a lineup and he's there.
He's just the next guy available. I can say looking at this list, there's going to be guys, there's going to be so much value. Like Saquon dropping down into the third round. I love that for next year. Like just because we bet on him to not be good this year doesn't mean that he's never going to be good again. I could see him bouncing back very easily. Looking down here a little bit more, like Tataroa Millen is still going in like the fourth round.
Wow.
That's crazy. He's going to be
crazy.
Once Bryce develops and they start getting games, like last week, even he didn't have a good game, but he still had a touchdown. He's getting volume everywhere. So it's not just like he's getting volume like just reception wise and no touchdowns. He's getting it everywhere, and he's pushing himself away from those other receivers. I know we talked about in the beginning of the season, like Jalen Coker or like Xavier Legette, who's I know you absolutely despise, Cam. But
I don't like him.
Just he's pushing himself away from those guys and becoming that wide receiver one that they don't have to look for anymore. So and Bryce can rely on.
Yep.
And that's really what I wanted to add was like in these early rounds, you're looking for two things. You want to buy into production and then talent. Obviously you got your production guys, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to get work. He's going to be consistent, even if you want to throw Josh Jacobs in there. Since they're the standalone guys, they're going to get work. But next is the talent, and that's when your Brock Bowers and Justin Jefferson come into play. Brock Bowers was breaking records as a rookie last year with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Yep.
Somehow they just got in these situations where their QB play is so atrocious that it actually has taken them back and made them take a step back. Justin Jefferson is top three, most people top one best receiver in the league. And again, you have some of the worst QB play that the league is seeing right now. And all it takes is that one switch, like Jacoby Brissett. Like, look at Michael Wilson with Jacoby Brissett. How much better is Justin Jefferson than Michael Wilson? And then, say mid-season, Kirk Cousins gets traded back to Minnesota. Like, how quick does Justin Jefferson rise right back to the first round? Like he doesn't miss a beat. Say with Brock Bowers, as soon as they go make a move to get someone that, I guess the scariest thing is watching one of these teams maybe buy into a rookie in the first round of this year's draft. And then we still have our question marks. But like I said, in the end, I'm always going to buy talent. If a player is good, he's going to find a way. And the offense knows that a player is good. They're going to find a way to give him the ball. It's just very unfortunate how it's panned out this year. Dude, Brock made the craziest catch Sunday. That was the worst throw I've ever seen from 2 yards out. I've ever seen a QB make, and Brock still finds a way. That's the one last thing I wanted to add in.
Yeah, I totally agree. Troy says that he read somewhere that the Vikings may look to get Daniel Jones back. For those who don't remember, he spent some time there in Minnesota at the end of last year after he got cut from the Giants. And I think that would be great for Justin Jefferson. So good. And I'm not a huge Daniel Jones guy, but he can at least get the ball to Justin Jefferson. And that's all Jefferson needs is somebody who can get him the ball.
Where would you guys put Jefferson if Daniel Jones went?
Back up in the top 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman is a top 10 receiver this year. How much better is Justin Jefferson than Michael Pittman?
He'd be right in that tier with Jamar Chase, right beside him. That's the early look ahead at the 2026 draft. Obviously, there's so much to change. So many things coming up. I'll say this for you dynasty nerds, the biggest buy of the offseason is going to be Bashal Tutin. I know Dom is just irritated, just flustered that I keep bringing him up. But ETN is a unrestricted free agent in 2026. And, he's played well at the beginning of the year, but he has definitely tapered off. I think the team lets him go. He's not worth the money. Bashal Tutin, that will be his backfield. Him and LeQuint Allen will be splitting backfield duties. And, so it'll be Bashal season all year next year. Got to keep him on the team. All right, real quick before we head out, it's 8:20, maybe a few minutes. We can just talk about our favorite waiver ads this week. If y'all want, I could just list off a couple names and you tell me, how interested you are in them. And we'll just try to do these quickly. So Pat Bryant had 7 targets this last game. He's playing a lot more routes. Cortland Sutton has been tapering off mightily. Is Pat Bryant worth an ad in your league, Dom? If you need receiver help,
very deep leagues, I wouldn't bet on that happening again. I think that Troy Franklin and Cortland Sutton are those main guys. If you need receiver help, yes, but I wouldn't be looking to add him.
Cage, you're our resident Pat Bryant truther. What do you say?
I've already got Pat Bryant on the teams, man. I've been stashing. It's so late in the league, man. The only way you're getting startable players right now from the waiver wires is from injuries. So the next best thing, again, look for talent. Look for high ceilings. Pat Bryant. This receiver room has not been very stellar this year. Cortland Sutton's taken a step back. Troy Franklin has taken a step up, but even still, it hasn't been anything crazy. So when there's question mark players in front of another player, like a rookie like Pat Bryant, then I'm buying into that. And there could be a late season breakout, but yeah, he's definitely worth an ad for me.
Yeah, I don't see him breaking out huge. Just limited by the offense and other guys in that receiver core that are pretty good. But I definitely think he's going to be pretty solid. If he can get you a touchdown and 50 yards and a couple catches, then he's definitely worth a flex play. I'll say this: he's not my favorite receiver off the waivers this week. My favorite is the guy I was been touting the last couple weeks, Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell finally hit. He's had crazy target shares, 24%, 26%, and then 39% this last game.
Because of Tyrod.
He had 8 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown, 12 targets. It's juicy. And, he's a guy that is a late bloomer this year, and he's bad at catching, real bad at catching. I will never disagree with anybody there. He's not a very good catcher of the football, but you don't have to be a great catcher of the football when you get as open as he does. And we just saw what he can do. I mean, if this Jets offense is going to be playing like this the rest of the season, and the team has been very competitive the last couple weeks, I think he is my number one gold star ad. Like, if you use fab leagues, drop all your fab on him. He's the guy that can help win leagues at the end of the year. What do y'all think about Adonai? I'll start with Dom.
I'd grab him 100%. I completely agree with you. I think this next week they're playing the Dolphins. It's going to be a competitive game. They're both not great, but they're looking for a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. So I think it's going to be another Falcons-Jets type of game where it's going to be back and forth, the close score in the entire game. He's going to get a ton of opportunities. There's nobody other really in that offense other than maybe Mason Taylor, but still, you're not relying on Mason Taylor as the Jets. They're looking for somebody who's already produced. It's him. There's no Garrett Wilson, so I like him. I'd even have him as a flex play this week. Crazy to say.
Yep. Gabe's Adonai.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of on the other hand what we've been talking about tonight, but this is a volume buy. This is the guy who's going to be getting majority of the receiver volume in this offense. And I'm not a crazy Adonai guy, but like Cam said, he can separate. He's quick. You bring in a different QB who can actually push the ball down the field, and you're just expecting him to get 8 to 12 targets a game because he is the best receiver in the receiving core, and no one really touches him. So even if the Jets aren't scoring, you can still bet on getting 5, 6, 7 catches for 60, 70 yards. And if you can get that in your flex, if you had to put him in for a hurt player, or there's a lot of bye weeks this week that really suck, that's all you can ask for right there.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Last receiver we'll spend a good amount of time on, Devon Bailey. Devon Bailey had a pretty big game this last week. What was his stat line? He had 8 catches on 8 targets, 93 yards and a touchdown with Tyler Shuck. This is coming off the tail end of a 7-target game last week. Only 3 catches there, but obviously Shuck prefers him, and the Saints did just trade away Rashid Shaheed a couple weeks ago at the trade deadline. So they trade away Shaheed. They traded for Vele before the season, or earlier in the season, traded a 4th and a 7th round draft pick to go get him. It was mind-boggling. So it's very obvious that the team likes him. And he's available in a lot of leagues. I think he's 100% a great ad. For me, it'd be Adonai, then Vele, then probably Pat Bryant. But Caleb, what about Devon Vele? You like him?
He's not horrible. He's not someone I'm very aggressive at getting. But his snap share has been going higher and higher as the season goes on. Just the past 3 weeks, he's been from 80 to 90% the snap share. Obviously, the target share is coming on. Tyler Shuck is really starting to come on. He does need someone to throw to. That's not named Chris Olave.
Or Jawan
I still
Johnson.
I still think he's still the third option, I'd say, in this offense behind those 2 guys. Obviously, this was a shootout game, so there was a lot of passing. And the Saints are just struggling to run the ball at all. So this might just be a pass-heavy offense for the rest of the season. So I think he is worth an ad. I wouldn't drop anyone crazy valuable or anyone who you've been holding on with high upside just to get him. But if you have someone that isn't doing anything for you and is looking worthless, then yeah, I'd make the move.
Love it. Dom, how do you feel about Vele?
Yeah, I have the same sentiment as Caleb. I think he's not somebody you like aggressive going after, but he's a good pickup if you need somebody this week. Tough bye week for a lot of people, like you said before. He's not a bad pickup. He's obviously preferred in this offense, like you said. Tyler Shuck's playing decently. Like the passing game isn't bad recently, so they're going to need somebody to throw to. I'm kind of just reiterating what Caleb said. So I think he's a decent pickup if you need somebody.
Yep. Do y'all have any other low key ads at receiver that stands out to you?
No, I last week, which is crazy. I know he did absolutely terrible. Chamari DK, I thought was going to be somebody you wanted to pick up maybe later for this season, but I completely scratched that because I'm so glad that we didn't have the pod last week and we didn't tell people that. Because that was, I looked on the waivers and I saw that he had negative points, so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Never mind.
Rough.
Yeah.
Who was I going to say? Oh, how are you guys feeling about Dontavian Wicks? Was this just a one-game thing, or could this be the start of something before Green Bay goes into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think Wicks is good. He reminds me a lot of Adonai Mitchell. The problem is you've already got Christian Watson demanding a lot of targets there, and also Romeo Dobbs, and they're a run-heavy offense. I think this game ended up just being a pass-happy game because the Lions are terrible in their secondary, like legitimately horrible, and so they ran the ball in order to throw, and he was just open a ton. So he's one I'd keep my eye on, but I'm not necessarily like going out to get him. I'd rather roster Luther Burden.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, unironically, I agree. I'd rather roster Luther Burden and Christian Watson. I think Alex said when he was leaving, if he's still available in your league, please pick him up.
Go get him.
He's the wide receiver one in this offense. I know that everybody kind of got the ball last week, but he's really the preferred receiver, especially in the end zone. They're going to be, especially against the Bears, going to be very competitive, high passing game. It's Bears defense has gotten a little bit better against the run the past couple of weeks. They stopped Saquon this past week, so they're going to need to pass the ball a bit more. So I like all the Packers receivers this next week, but preferably Christian Watson.
Yeah, and Troy's chiming in. He said he's big on Watson too. He's still out there in many leagues, and he would be my number one receiver ad if he is available in your league. Most of my leagues, he's not available in, unfortunately. But that way, if he is in your league, go get him. The only other guy I would add, just as a very low key ad, would be Isaac Tisla. If Amon-Ra is out for an extended period of time. It's going to be Jameson Williams season. Sam Laporta's still out. Tisla kind of plays like a tight end and like a receiver. Very good in the red zone. So, there's a pretty good bet that he'll score. They love him in the red zone.
Also, they're playing Dallas.
And they play Dallas. So he's got a great matchup.
Receiver dream.
Like that is the dream. If you can get him, put him in your flex and win week 14 just to squeak into the playoffs because you put Isaac Tisla in and he gets 25 points, you will be the new fantasy guru. On the running back side, there's really not a lot in the running backs. But, top handcuffs, is there anybody you guys love as a handcuff running back?
Yeah, I'm not going to waste time, but if he is on your waivers, Blake Corum is the best handcuff to have right now. But I think that's kind of old news. I think the next one I'd be looking to is Keaton Mitchell. Derrick Henry, he's older. He gets a lot of volume. All it takes is one play. He gets hurt. Keaton Mitchell is explosive. He's young. Honestly, he needs to be in this offense more, even if Derrick Henry is healthy. So Keaton Mitchell is one guy that I'm definitely keeping my eye on. And if I have space for him on the waiver wire, I'm making a move. Desperation play, as much as it pains me to say it, is Samaj P. Ryan, who is for some reason getting run in the Bengals offense just as much as Chase Brown, and it pisses me off to no end. But we got to react to information we get. So Samaj Piran, if you're really, really, really in a bind, does have some standalone value.
Yeah. Dom, is there any running backs that you like?
Yeah, I know. Caleb, all those Derrick Henry owners were like shaking their fist at you when you mentioned Pete Mitchell. So,
No.
no, but I completely agree. I like Blake Corum. That's a great pickup. I really like Singletary. I know they have a bye this next week, but Tyron Tracy did go out of the game with an injury, and it looked like he was limping. So it could be a nice, flex RB2 spot if they do end up sitting Tracy for the fantasy playoffs for after week 14. But other than that, I really like him. I do really like if Trey Benson's still available. I gotta say, Bashal Tutin has been getting if not more than 40% of the snaps in this offense. I gotta say it. I gotta go on your side, Cam. Bashal Tutin. He's if it's not ETN, it's Tootin, and they're both volatile. It could be either or. So if you're gonna gamble on somebody on your waivers and you're in a pickle, you're in a bind, Bashal Tootin will get you that volume. Whether he produces or not, that's another story. But they're giving him a ton of volume, and he's productive.
Yeah.
So
And real quick, just so everybody knows, I was on Bashal Tutin before Cam was. I was talking about
Shut
Bashal
up,
before
bro.
he got drafted. Okay.
Shut up, bro.
I
Shut up, bro.
I'm a Hokie fan. I've been chanting Bashal for a while now. Cam came to me like halfway through the season. Bro, Bashal's so good. You got to trade him to me. I'm like, no, can't do it,
No.
man.
Hey. I was on Bashal early.
You called like
Um,
8 other guys, and I missed on the rest of mine. But Bashal's the one that I've been on.
All that matters
That's
is
my one flag, my one little flag for the year.
yeah.
we all believe in Bashal now. That's all that matters.
right.
We're all Bashal
right.
believers.
This is
now.
true.
We're never wrong. We're just a tad early. Yeah, I think all those running backs are like worthy. It's really crazy how few running backs are on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
I think a guy that I'm interested in, to be totally honest, is Chris Rodriguez / Bill. Mainly because when Jaden Daniels comes back, it's going to open up the running game a whole lot more. He's potentially going to be back this week. But if not, they play Minnesota this week. But if not, next week they play the Giants, and the Giants are terrible run defense. And Bill actually had almost a 30-point game while playing with Daniels. So I think Bill benefits a lot when Jaden Daniels comes back and plays because they're just really good at that RPO. They're 2 running backs I would be thinking about. Zonovan Knight, I think he's kind of a gross one, and his matchups aren't very good towards the end of the year, but he's getting a healthy workload pretty much every game. But he's got to play the Rams and then Houston, so that's going to be kind of tough. Atlanta in week 16 and Cincy in week 17. So, if Trey Benson still struggles to get out on the field, Zonovan Knight is someone. But then it's really just handcuff your top end guys. Go get Tyler Algier as much as we can't stand him.
I thought Dom was going to say Tyler Algier. I was going to leave.
Yeah.
No, I'm so mad at him. I can't even recommend him to people.
I can't do this no more. Emmanuel Wilson is another good one.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of guys. Just go look at the waiver wire and see which guys are backups. And then on the tight end front, really it's kind of the wild west. Fannin, if he's still out there, is a good one, I would say. Is there any other tight ends you guys like?
I like Brenton Strange a whole bunch. If Brenton Strange is available in your league, I think he's a fantastic pickup.
Yeah, Brenton Strange should not be on your waivers. If he is, scoop.
Yeah. If Zach Ertz is there, I don't mind Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, tight ends are kind of gross. Got to take a shot in the dark.
Gross. And then quarterback play, if you're still dealing with injuries, Tyler Shuck is, I think, a great pickup. He's playing a lot better. They're giving him reign of the offense so he can kind of be a gunslinger. And he's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw picks. He's going to fumble. He's going to be like the Will Levis kind of guy. But he's also got the upside Levis kind of showed in his first season. And, if you remember when Will Levis came on the scene, he threw like 8 touchdowns in the first 4 games that he played. And he was balling. And then he just cratered. So Shuck could, he's got a lot of good tools, and they play at a good offense. An offense I trust. It's not a good offense. Are there any other quarterbacks you guys would be looking at?
I'm in a tough one right now. I've been running with Jacoby Brissett, but his next 2-3 games are very, very tough. He's got the Rams this next week, and then the Texans, and then the Falcons. So the next guy I'm looking at, and you guys tell me what you think, and maybe someone else out there is having the same problem, is Aaron Rodgers' next 3 games is Baltimore, Miami, and Detroit. Do you run with Jacoby? You get Aaron Rodgers.
I'm starting Jacoby. I ain't starting Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead and talk about it, Dom, because I got to pull up this tweet.
I would 100% start Jacoby. Aaron Rodgers is just so weird. Like, he'll have good games when you don't need him to have good games, and he plays terrible matchups. And then he'll just great matchups. He'll be playing Tennessee defense, and he'll drop 6 points. So I trust the efficiency of Jacoby Brissett just a little bit more.
Yeah,
you ready for
sure.
an incredible stat? Just
let's hear it.
Insane. This is from Ben Fennell on Twitter. The Steelers have not completed a downfield pass in 36 days.
Oh,
they are 0 for 13 going down the field, 3 interceptions in their last 5 games combined on 20-plus yard air passes.
That's rough.
Hey, man,
that's really
it's
rough.
our year.
Yeah, our year to call it quits. We are toast. Arthur Smith is at it again. Let's just bring Desmond Ridder to Pittsburgh next year and just have a full-on Arthur Smith
Falcons reunion just in Pittsburgh.
Good Lord.
Exactly. Troy does say if Trevor Lawrence is out there, pick him up. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he's not the sexiest quarterback for sure. And he leaves a lot to be desired, but he's scoring around 20 points a game, which, is very valuable here coming towards the end of the year. So anyway, I think that's all we got for tonight. So thank you everybody for joining. Thanks for being here. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and family. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're active on all 3 of those. And then you can listen to this pod or any of the other pods. We're live on Sundays and Tuesdays and Thursdays every night around 7 p.m. If you don't get time to listen to the stream, you can always listen to it on podcast on your way into work or your way home from work. But with that, everybody, we just thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.
Ladies, we did the research for you. Fellas, pay attention. We've partnered up with Bonheure Jewelry. Bonheure is a celebrity favorite, eco-friendly jewelry company based in New York City. They're adored by stars such as Emma Watson, Gal Gadot, Katy Perry, Kim Kardashian, Kendall Jenner, and Hailey Bieber. Their designs have been featured in top publications including Vogue, Elle, V Magazine, and on major platforms. We love them. They have great pricing for luxury jewelry. It's something that you can start planning for before the holidays get here and get it early. Click on the link in our show notes below. You can sign up for 15% off your first order. When you support our partners, you support FanFeed Network. Check them out.